find some stuff to shoot. Got the Leica M6. Just kidding. Leica M3, double stroke. People don't like the, well, some people don't like the double stroke. I don't have a problem with it. I sort of have a philosophy of buying the nicest brand of fill in the blank, whatever product, but finding the second nicest, which in this, so saving money basically. The M3 is probably not.
Waiting for pairing.
Fuck.
Paired.
The M3 is probably not the second nicest. The second nicest is probably the M4. If we're talking versus the M6. But the M3, honestly, the thing about the M3 is I think they nailed the overall design of it. Like, as far as this frame around here and this frame, the 3 dimensions of it, I think is very appealing. And it's just simple, good camera. And the double stroke, I kind of like it. You know, there's something satisfying probably about like just pulling it all the way and letting it go with that spring tension and it'll flip back. I think that would be cool, but the double bam bam is nice. I don't have an issue with that at all. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, I got that. And then the Nikon F2, which in drip factor, the Nikon F2 is high on the tier list. I have a 28mm on it, but I also brought a 200mm lens. So 50mm Leica Summicron on the M3, which is a good lens, but 50mm has kind of been a pain in my ass lately. I feel like there's a lot of compositions that I could have got with a 28 or a 35 that I would have liked a lot more. But the overall look of the 50 Summicron, the version 3, which is again the cheap version of the Summicron. Excuse me, is it the Summicron or no? Yeah, Summicron. It's a Cron, not the Lux. Okay, so but people did not like this lens because they changed up the element, like the formula, the lens elements from the old Summicrons, but the look is more contrasty and less flat, which I actually like, especially because I'm shooting black and white and I like contrast in my black and white images. So I've had this is Christmas weekend, and I've had this whole weekend off, and this is my last day off. And this whole weekend I've just sort of been driving in the same areas that I've driven over 1,000 times, but it's a little different today and this weekend because it's been sort of overcast and foggy and snowy. And what I'm trying to get here, because I've seen everything that I'm driving by a million times, is just trying to think of a good composition, which I've got 10 frames down, or I can't see it, on this roll of, yeah, it is Tri-X. So if I can come back from this trip with 5 more shots, I'll be pretty happy. I guess this is kind of like a vlog, right, as I used to call it. It's a vlog. It's a virtual log. When I look at my images, I think like 80% of the roll has like a concept or an idea, of like what I was trying to go for with the composition, and usually it's not a complete package, or there's just something missing with it, where I'm like, well, that could have been something, but I sort of missed it. Now here's an interesting place that I've been. It's I've already kind of gone here. I'm a little hesitant to be trying to trespass right now. So I think the move right now is gonna be driving to Roxbury. Roxbury is a very small town with hardly any people, and it's got some interesting sort of disheveled buildings, which I'm kind of bored of shooting. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's a cop-out. It's almost like taking pictures of old cars and that being like the only thing you shoot, which there's obviously no problem with doing something like that, especially if you're good at it and if that's your thing, you're interested in vintage cars and you happen to be a photographer and you like to, that's how you kind of, one of the ways that you enjoy it, then obviously that's cool. But it's not the same with abandoned buildings, because yeah, I enjoy looking at them and I enjoy exploring, but how many old shitty houses have you seen taken on film and you were like, wow, this is a really cool picture? You look at it and you're just like, huh, keep swiping. Same thing with every single thing on Instagram is like that, obviously. And it's funny because when you're looking at things on Instagram, you could be looking at like one of the best pictures overall. You could be looking at a masterpiece and look at it for 2 seconds. Alright, so that's the problem with Instagram, which is whatever, it's fine. Who cares? This is not like I'm trying to make anything that makes money out of this. I'm just doing it for myself and having fun doing it, and it's a creative outlet for me. So there's nothing wrong with that. But it's also like I'll be up at night looking at my picture. I'm like, wow, look how sick this is. I'm like zooming in on it. You can't do that on Instagram. But I'm like inspecting details and little elements of it. And I'm like, this is just so beautiful. I love this. It'll never be that experience unless you're seeing it in person, right? And even then it's a different thing for who's looking at it, because I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is what I like, this is what I want to see. But that's not the same for everybody, because you're viewing at it from a different, you're seeing something else than somebody else. You're seeing something else than somebody else, right? Which is weird because you're looking at the same thing. But that is mediation. That is, everybody is viewing things from their own perception, and your own perceived reality is different from the next guy's because of all kinds of factors, which is what's beautiful about film too, is because you're out there interacting in the world, viewing things in real life, and you're putting emphasis on this one thing and you're packaging it in a frame that is like nice and is like good to look at. But what you're seeing on film or looking through a lens of something is a different interpretation of reality. And that goes beyond just the lens, that goes down to your film choice, that goes down to the settings, that goes down on the lens, like your aperture, goes down to the composition. It's all a different reality packaged into this concise box. So it is looking at reality, but you're looking at it through my lens, somebody else's lens, and then you're looking at it through the lens of the camera and the film. So it's like 3 steps removed from what you would actually be seeing. Probably more than that, more than 3 steps, but it's multiple steps removed from if you were standing in front of it, which I think is what makes it interesting, because everybody sees something different. This is something that anybody that talks about photography will say. I'm not saying anything new here, but I still like to think about it, and I still like to talk about it, because I think that's what is so great about photography and art in general, is how the individual interprets his environment and reality, and how he's posing it to you, positing it, right? So we're in Roxbury. Didn't really want to get out because I got here for the second fucking time and said, I just don't really want to get out. It's not really grabbing me. This is probably going to be a drive-by shot here, because I'm on a main road. I don't really want to get out. Oh no. That could still be cool. This horse is standing out in this green but still white field. Kind of looks kind of cool. They were grouped together just a second ago, and I like the way that looked. However, wow, that was my last shot? Okay. That horse is pissing over there. I'm a very vulgar person. I would have taken a picture of that. If I'm gonna get a picture with the 50, then that would mean I gotta get close, and I don't know. I might jump out, see what the see what we want to rate this at here. F8 500. I don't know. I guess I will jump out in the middle of the road here, even though this is illegal. Alright. Are you guys watching? Making sure there's no cars? Oh, there's one right behind me. Thanks for telling me. Just in time. Got one shot. Well, got two shots. I don't have high hopes. Turned. Okay. Can't see, there's an old gas station back there. I've shot it before. Like I said, I'm just kind of burnt out with the abandoned building trope. There's a school that I've been to. Old busted in school. There's an abandoned house there. You know, the other thing is I feel weird about hopping out of the car and going and taking pictures, because people live here and they're just like, they don't get it. When you're taking pictures of something that they drive by and see every single day, they're like, what the fuck are you doing? We're gonna do a little flipperoo here. I kind of like that. There's a house behind me. These people hopefully don't freak out. So this is kind of what I'm looking at. Is that yeah, look at my finger. That weird like pool thing and this crazy looking tree. Kind of interesting on this road. We'll see if the shot's any good. It's really snowing out here. I'm getting my lens all messed up. Getting water on it. That's good. Nice expensive lens. Get it all wet. It's good. It's what you gotta do. What I want to do is back up and get a wider angle, get this road closed when wet sign, get that tree with the pool ladder going there. So we might have to do a little car composition here. All Alright, it's a professional term for when you drive right up and you position yourself. It looks like shit. I'm not gonna take that picture. Moving on. Well, this worries me a little bit. Probably gonna have to flip it into 4-wheel drive here. Just gonna go. Bam! Now we can't see anything. Woo! My car is making a very weird noise. A weird like squeaking noise whenever I'm like hitting bumps. So I don't know what that means. The overall vibe of this video is life is hell, but there's nothing going on here. Just taking a picture of roads. Empty roads. I think it's only something that can work when they're wet and it's black and white. So this was a boring video. Something to do. Driving, drinking coffee. Time to be gay. Getting out in nature is good for your brain. If you're from here in the Midwest, in the country where you're used to doing that all the time, you can kind of take it for granted. And so when you hear in country songs, they're talking about driving on the back roads, all that, getting their boots muddy and their tires muddy and their Ford F-150 quad. If there's something that you gotta try to peer into the lyrics and think about, then I'm more interested in that than getting my boots and my truck muddy. Because, you know, I'm a badass, hard working, I wear Carhartt, American, just targeted. It's like rap, how rap is targeted to like turn black people into like professional convenience store robbers. I'm racist. Black people are mean. Society doesn't like me. Blue collar jobs that they're not going to be rich, but they work hard and they love drinking Coors Light and whiskey. We're badass. So that was a rant and a half, and I think I didn't really say anything out of that whole thing, but that's okay.